We are going to talk about improving your relationship with money and improving your reality around the financial area. So hang with me, stay tuned for all of March because it's going to be on the subject of your reality around money and how to improve that so you'll have greater prosperity, greater wealth in your life. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what is your reality when it comes to around money? And when I say reality, what I'm referring to is, reality is created by agreement. And an example of that would be very simply is if I told you I wanted to meet you for coffee and you agreed and said, yeah, I would love to meet you for coffee. Let's meet at this coffee shop on this day at 8 p.m. Then we both show up there on that day at 8 p.m. We've just actually created an agreement which creates reality. Okay, it is that simple. Also, if you think about way back, Christopher Columbus went against, he had a different reality when it came to the world was flat. He's like, no, the world is round. And a lot of people didn't buy into that. There was not much agreement around that. And finally, he got the money to go and prove that his reality was correct, that the world was round. It was not flat. So let's think about today some of the beliefs and some of the preconceived ideas that are so common among people and probably for yourself. So the first one is, and these are very limiting beliefs. This is a very common one, and I know you've all heard it, like money is the root of all evil. Well, what do you think about that? And if you've had some thoughts around that and considerations, think about how much fear that maybe below your own conscious awareness that's there, that money is the root of all evil. I mean, think about it. You could actually prove that to be right if you think about some of the things that's happened to people like stars, sports, in the sports area, movie stars, rock and roll bands, so forth. People who have a lot of money can go off and do things that they normally would not do that end up ruining their reputation and would not be in that space if they didn't have a lot of money. So you could make that very, very right, but it's something to be inspected. Money is the root of all evil. That would definitely limit someone's ability to have an abundance of wealth. The second thing is money is earned through hard work. Oh my goodness. So think about how just that one belief set you up to always have a life of working hard. And at the end of the day, and at the end of your life, you still may not have a lot of money, right? Even though you worked hard. I know my father, oh my goodness, bless his heart, worked 3 jobs to make ends meet. I mean, like sun up to sundown, 365 days a year. And he didn't have a lot of money. So working hard does not give you a lot of money. It can, but just that belief is very limiting and can also make your work very hard when it could be very easy, because that depends on what zone you're in. Now, the third one I want you to look at is money doesn't buy happiness. Oh my goodness. So that whole belief downplays basically the importance of having financial resources. When you have financial resources, though, that helps you get what you want. That helps you reach for the stars, if you will. That helps you reach for things outside of your comfort zone, outside of your box, growth. And so, happiness by definition is that feeling that you get whenever you achieve what you want. Think about it when you achieve what you want. And it's like, yes. So, money doesn't buy you happiness. Well, that's definitely one to inspect. And then the fourth one I want you to look at, because this is very prominent in some cultures, and I see this. I don't fully understand it because it's not in my culture here, but if you don't cheat, you don't get ahead. I mean, there's a level of dishonesty that's okay to have. And I've seen that in different cultures where, it's okay if maybe the country is doing poorly, or maybe the town is doing poorly, or maybe, the environment in which you were raised in didn't really give you an ample chance to really make it. So this cheating or being a little bit dishonesty, being a little bit dishonest is okay, so you can get ahead. So that's more prominent in some cultures than not. And that belief is not going to serve you well at all. And then the last one I wanted to look at as money exists to be spent. Now, when I thought about this belief, I thought about when I was growing up, because there was, I didn't realize on some level the lack of money, but on some level I did, if that makes sense. So I grew up with a lot of limits on money in the town that I was raised, but I mean, so did everybody else. And I didn't realize how limiting that was until I got older and really got into personal development. But so there were a lot of limits on money growing up. And so if you look at money exists to be spent, the way that affects me now as an adult is, so there were a lot of limits when I was young, but now as an adult, I like to spend it because I want to do totally opposite from what I had when I was growing up. So instead of being more, what would you say, more apt to reinvest, which I do and have money work for me, but I also will be quick to spend, if you will, because I don't want to have those limits that I had when I was young. So it really doesn't serve me well because it affects my spending now. And I'm like, well, if you got a limit then, why do we have to limit now? I mean, my gosh, when can you ever spend money? So a lot of stuff on that. So with that, let me give you a couple of things to do. Hold on, let me find my notes. So here's a little assignment. What I'd like for you to do is identify your thoughts and your beliefs around money. Write them down, okay? You also want to inspect where it came from. Who else agreed with you on this particular belief? Okay, was it your parents? Was it your grandparents? Was it your siblings? Was it some of your teachers? Was it a mentor that you were highly, highly influenced by? Was it the town, the culture, the church, organizations? What created that mindset for you? And then the third thing is, think about the consequences of having that one belief. Okay. Think about how that plays out in situations in life. Really, really inspect that. Recognizing the consequences is crucial here. Now, consequences can be positive and negative. A lot of times people think about consequences like, well, what are the consequences of that? Kind of like getting scolded and a parent asking you, what are the consequences of this bad behavior? But consequences can be positive and negative. So always remember that. So inspect your consequences and inspect the consequences, and then give yourself permission to disagree with the reality that you've had around money, the agreements that you have around money, and change your mindset. One time I had a mentor that told me very simply, I had a mindset that needed to be changed, and I wasn't happy about something that was going on in my corporate job at the time when I was a student here. And he just simply looked at me. He said, one thing that I will always remember, well, you could always decide to like it. And I was like, wow, that it was really that simple to change my mindset. So stay with us in March. Let's inspect this area of money so that you can change your reality around it and create an abundant life. So at the end of this month, we're doing a very special workshop that is designed to help you inspect, and not only inspect, but change your limiting beliefs and mindset about money. You'll be able to change and create a different reality around that. So if that interests you, if you want to break through in the financial area and create a new reality for yourself, go to the link below, which is go.aclc.us/money. Click on the link and you won't believe this. It's only $1. See you next week.